Welcome to Slumpton. That's what the sign's meant to say, but some of the letters have worn off, so all you really see is Welcome to Slum, which is hilarious if you don't have to live here. I ran past the sign, not stopping until I could make out the slice of grey sea in the distance. The sound of Mum squawking like a constipated parrot was still ringing in my ears. "I'm warning you, Belle," and "Come back this minute, Belle," and "I know I'm overreacting, Belle, but I'm your mother, it's my job." Okay, she didn't say the last bit. She never admits she's wrong. It was because I mentioned what a huge mistake it was. Moving here, that a row over nothing, Marmite contamination of the butter, turned into a big scene. We had, "You have no idea how hard it is for me," and "The world doesn't revolve around you," and then "It's not like your dad is here to help." That's when it got nasty. I probably shouldn't have said it was her fault for kicking him out then. Her eyes went all bulgy, so I opened the front door and just ran. I didn't have a plan, or even a coat, but eventually I found myself at the top of the hill, the salty air scouring the inside of my lungs. It had all started with a letter, plopping through the letterbox, just like it really was a letter and not a bomb thrown into the centre of my life. At first it seemed like good news. Mum's eyes shone when she told me she'd inherited a house by the seaside and all our money problems would be over. We even did a little dance. But all that was before she realised she wasn't allowed to sell it for 1,000 years or something. Or mentioned that Dad wasn't coming with us. I told her in no uncertain terms that she was ruining my life, but it made no difference. I sobbed the whole time we were packing up the house. It seemed like 5 minutes later we were here, the land that time forgot, watching the removal van disappear around the corner like a last hope. A week from moving in day, we were at each other's throats and nothing about living here had got any better. Everything was buzzing like angry bees in my head as I walked down the hill towards the promenade. I came here often, grotty though it was. An amusement arcade was the only thing always open, and a skinny teenage girl with angry eyes sat hunched in a booth at the entrance. I would have gone in to warm up, but I'd been in once before and it smelled of fags and boys' socks. I pulled my cardigan round my shoulders, wishing I'd thought to grab my fleece as I'd stormed out of the house. I walked along for a bit, past the boarded up fish and chip stalls and popcorn stands, and past the hotel that looks really posh until you get close and see the way the paint's all scabby, like a skin disease. "Just wait till summer," Mum kept saying, "then you'll see how good it is here." But the sea looked so cold and evil, you couldn't imagine anyone putting on cozies and slicing through it on bodyboards. Tears prickled my eyes and I swiped my sleeve across them, quickly checking that no one was watching. I walked down to an old shelter which was splashed all over in pigeon poo, apart from one small bit. I sat down carefully and looked out to sea, sighing with my whole body. I heard a cough then and turned round, startled. He was slumped in the corner with his hood up. I stared at the side of his head for a minute and then he turned towards me slowly, eyes the colour of dark chocolate, in a gaunt, pale face. A year or two older than me, but a lot taller. "All right," I said, but he just stared like I said something really strange. I tutted and moved a bit further down the bench. He leapt to his feet then and started walking away, head down and hands deep in his pockets. I scowled and rubbed my goose pimply arms. Trust me to sit down next to a certified lunatic. Maybe that's what living here did to people. It wouldn't be long before I was mumbling to myself and sitting too close to people on buses. Staring out to sea, I started thinking about what a pathetic figure I must be to anyone watching. They'd probably think I was homeless, which I practically was when I considered what sort of reception I'd get when I got back. Or had lost both my parents in a terrible car crash. I let the tragic feeling settle around me like a warm blanket, but my stomach started rumbling and I remembered I hadn't even eaten my toast, despite all the trouble the Marmite had caused. I knew I'd have to go home and face the music sometime, so I got up. That's when I noticed something next to me on the seat. I picked up a small blue ticket, the kind that comes from an old-fashioned roll. "Admit 1" was written on it in black letters. The weird boy must have left it behind. Sometimes I freeze-frame that moment in my mind. I could easily have left the ticket there on the bench and thought no more of it, but I didn't. For some reason I can't explain, I picked it up and slipped it into the pocket of my jeans. Then I started the walk of doom home.